All right, guys, how's it going? There'll be no live streams today because I'm going out for a few sherbets. All right. Yeah, I'm going out for a few sherbets, a few drinks with friends this afternoon. My one day out this week, I'll have you know. And I've updated the Duncan Oldham channel with the morning briefing. The link to that channel is in the video description. It pops up on the screen as well if you'd like to go over there. I do all my acknowledgements on there, for people that bought me a beer or a coffee and basically talk about Cop Talk, Liverpool, me, you, and all that, yeah? So if you like this channel, you might like it over there. Anyway, in this video, we're going to be talking about Luis Díaz. I'm sick of fucking hearing about him, aren't you? Well, you're making a video about him, Chubbs. Yeah, because there's stuff in the news. You know what I'm saying? There's stuff in the news. And, listen, Luis Díaz is a good player. But I remember last season, people were bigging him up 1 minute, slagging him off the next. You know, he was inconsistent. Then he finished the season good and blah, 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 And, for a year, he's been trying to get this move to Barcelona, which I ain't got a problem with, if that's been your life, long hope, desire, since you were a kid to play for Barcelona, I get it. But him and his dad hadn't shown a lot of respect to Liverpool, I think, in last year. And so, people talk about the low wages on. We've had journalists say that's not true. He's on more than what's claimed. It doesn't make a difference to me because I've seen people saying, give him the money he deserves, He's shown no loyalty to Liverpool, and I think he's conducted himself pretty shitty recently, to be honest with you. Now the contract, his existing contract, is the narrative that they're pushing, has been, too underpaid. They weren't saying that a year ago, but he's saying it now because Liverpool are refusing to move on the valuation. It's about the wages. If I was the chief executive of Liverpool Football Club or the sporting director, he'd be the last fucker I would look at rewarding, publicly stating that he's talking to other clubs when he's under contract twice. Now, fuck that. You want rewarding for your contract, then you show us a bit of loyalty as well. Not just because you can't get your dream move, all right? You know what I mean? So, anyway, Fabrizio Romano, Mo Salah! Some people won't understand that. They won't understand that. Fabrizio Romano, he put a post on social media today, this morning. I think it was around about 8:30 UK time, I'm not sure. It's important. And he said as follows: Luis Díaz maintains his plan to leave Liverpool with FC Bayern set to bid again very soon. Bayern want to improve their proposal after €67 million rejected as they keep negotiating also for Volta Made, great player. I thought he was going to end up at Bayern. Really good player. I think Liverpool have been sniffing around him in the summer, but I'm not sure it can happen. Barcelona remain in contact with Lucho's agents, while Bayern can spend more. And basically what Romano's saying, he's got his plan to leave Liverpool still. Bayern expected to bid again. Barcelona remain in contact with his agents. And basically what he said there is everything that was said again today in the Barcelona media this morning. That's why I'm saying about his 8:30 a.m. tweet. The reason I mention this is because I think some people give extra strength to... If Romano comes out and says something, a lot of people think, that must be his contacts that's saying that, so it gives it a bit of strength. He's saying it now, so he must have heard it from someone in the industry. Whereas I think he did no different than me this morning, read the papers at 8:30, and basically reiterated that. All right, it's not about knocking him; it's about just showing to people, is that really coming from his people, or is he just got it from the papers as well? I don't know. I think it's important. Anyway, some of you won't care. There was a couple of articles that I want to mention to you. I can't remember word for word what they were about. Luis Díaz on the verge of leaving Liverpool, so says Sport. They're talking about Bayern Munich. Saying that they're willing to pay a premium that could make things very difficult for Barca. I don't think this is new information. Their next offer will exceed €70 million, a figure the Catalan club will not match. €60 million is the top wedge that Barca are offering. Excuse me. Luis Díaz's departure from Liverpool is starting to take shape. The English club is now open to beginning negotiations for the Colombian. And what they're doing here in Sport is it's not really their own information. They're just reporting what's been said by Bild in Germany. who reported that a meeting is already planned between Bayern and Liverpool executives to discuss the transfer, and the German club is willing to pay a premium that could make things very difficult for Barca. The Catalan club is currently not considering matching that €70 million offer. The Luis Díaz operation has heated up due to the Colombians' determination to leave Liverpool. And the English clubs need to sell after the signings they are making. And obviously they touch on Hugo Ekitike. And they even mentioned Madrid's Rodrigo again. I think that's information that's coming from Diaz's agent personally. So they could make a move for Rodrigo if they manage to sell two of their current forwards, which is obviously Darwin Núñez and Díaz. So Bayern have spotted an opening to go after Díaz, and they're trying, blah, blah, blah. Barca's plan was to hold off through July without making a move and wait for Bayern to wear themselves out in talks with Liverpool, with the intention of stepping in during August. And obviously there's financial limitations, the 1-1 situation, which they mention now. They say the Catalan club also wanted to wait and to be under the 1-1 financial rule to launch their final offensive, which is expected to be in August. But if you follow my Golazo España channel, you'll know about this. But Ter Stegen's injury could speed up events, as the club may gain salary cap space due to the German's absence. If he has surgery, there's talk of him being out for 4 months, which means they can deregister him and then allow, an additional registration, if you like. Or that's what they mean by free up salary cap space. They're trying to get rid of Ter Stegen because of his salary there. So deregistration of Ter Stegen, for example, if he does go under surgery, and I've got all my notes today, I can't remember what I was going to say about him on the other channel, that could see Barcelona improve their offer, but I'm not sure they're going to. But it says here, Barca are now preparing a maximum offer to Liverpool, and there will be no issue with the player's salary. They're going to try because he is the preferred choice of the sporting department to strengthen the left wing. But the club has also set financial limits because they do not want to make an over-the-top offer for a player who will turn 29 in January. And then they talk about Marcus Rashford being like a plan C. At Mundo Deportivo, I read this article today. I didn't like a little bit of this article. I'll explain to you in a minute. Limit set for Luis Díaz. So it's like both Catalan newspapers have been briefed with the same message, I think. Barcelona sets a ceiling at €60 million. Won't enter a bidding war. People keep saying, he's agreed terms with Bayern Munich. Yeah, he will have agreed terms with Bayern Munich. That's the agent's job. But that doesn't mean he's going to go there. An agent, can agree terms with multiple clubs, right? Because that's the groundwork being done. If Díaz doesn't get his dream move to Barca, then yeah, you can see him going to Bayern. But for as long as Barcelona could still be in there, he won't agree to go to Bayern. So he only goes to Bayern if the Barcelona situation is dead, and that's his one chance he's got to move in there, which looked very slim recently with the Nico Williams interest, didn't it? Which obviously didn't complete over registration, guarantees and things. Barcelona make it very clear they won't go overboard to sign him. If the player is showing his willingness to join, pushing for an exit from his club where he feels underpaid, where he's got only 2 years remaining on his contract. However, several circumstances are making his signing by Barca very complicated. On one hand, there's Liverpool's reluctance to sell him. On the other hand, the death of Jota has meant that Liverpool lost a forward in tragic fashion with a clear impact on their transfer plans. Talked about Bayern Munich going in strong. They've already offered €67 million over. Liverpool are trying to sign forwards, Rodrigo, Isak, Ekitike, but they haven't signed anyone yet. Also not helping in this scenario is the fact that Barca is still not operating under the 1-1 salary cap rule. Given this context, Barcelona are clear that they won't do anything reckless for Luis Díaz, which in terms of numbers means they don't intend to exceed €60 million. They know that Díaz wants to leave Liverpool as soon as possible, prioritising a move to the Camp Nou, but not ruling out destinations. Before the tragic death of Jota, the player's entourage saw it as feasible using different forms of pressure that he could leave Anfield for around 60 million euros. However, the aforementioned circumstances are altering that plan. I just didn't like the mention of it, like, you know, they thought they could exploit the situation, but now with that tragic news, you know, I don't know. The agent, there's nothing wrong there. I guess it's just a little bit uncomfortable for us. I was thinking about Jota this morning when I was in bed, and I won't say what I was thinking because it's horrific, but I don't want you to go down the same path as me with the way that my mind thinks. Barca are aware that even though the player prioritises moving to the Camp Nou because he's known for some time that Barcelona want him, if Bayern offer significantly more than the budgeted 60 million euros, there will be nothing Barca can do. If similar offers are made, even if Barca's offer is slightly lower than the German clubs, the player could tilt the balance in favour of the Catalans. However, if the Bavarian club decides to go up to 75 to 80 million to tempt Liverpool, then there will be nothing to be done. Understandably, Liverpool won't take a large financial loss just to satisfy a player they now need, especially after losing Jota, and with plans to sell Darwin Núñez, who is not part of their plans. Barca are waiting for the promised behind-the-scenes moves by Díaz with his club to force an exit, and for Liverpool's response to the offers. Now, we've heard this mentioned many times before where, you know, Barcelona expect him to put pressure on Liverpool. We haven't really seen that. We've seen the public, declarations of I'm talking to other clubs, and the Barcelona media at the time were like, oh, there we go, look, there he is, he's starting it, putting pressure on Liverpool. But other than that, we aren't aware of anything, are we? Like behind the scenes where, he's saying, I want Barcelona, and if you don't do it, like getting awkward and that. Will he do it? Have tragic events at Anfield prevented him from doing that because of how he would look? The assessments Barca have made aren't very encouraging given their budget. They could stretch financially to increase their chances of signing the Colombian, but they do not plan to do so for a player who will turn 29. And Díaz is in a hurry to leave Anfield. Barca are considering alternatives who are less appealing than the Colombian, Rashford, but financially more feasible. So that gives you, a rough idea of a couple of reports. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Díaz is mentioned every day out here in these football dailies. They're trying to keep the pressure on so that Liverpool get to read these things and see these things. But, I take my hat off to the people running Liverpool Football Club at the moment. They're not bowing. Núñez, no. Napoli begging to lower the fee. No, we're not lowering the fee. Díaz, no, we're not moving the fee. This is your valuation. We don't want to be shitty and block your dream move. Liverpool's never going to do that. But there's a valuation to be there, and to be met. And also Canate. Real Madrid, we'll give you 2025. Now you can fuck off. We'll let him go for free next year. Fuck him. So I like the attitude I'm seeing from Liverpool, to be honest with you. Anyway, I'm going to leave it with you there. I won't be updating Golazo Espana today. I did about 2 hours research this morning. I've got all my documents ready and everything. But now I've got to be out I need to leave here in about half an hour, and I need to get showered and sort the dog and everything. So anyway, guys, I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for watching my videos during the week. I really appreciate those of you that do take the time to thumbs up the videos and do take the time to interact with the channel. I know many of you can, but drop in and say hello every now and then. It's nice to hear from you, because I do wonder where you are when I haven't seen you using him for a while. I do, honest. I hope you have a really, really good weekend. I'm going out with a really good friend of mine now, a Sunderland fan, and I'm looking forward to my one day out, during the week. And I hope it's a good one. I do. I hope it's a good one. If you enjoyed this video or found it slightly interesting, you can thumbs up the video. If you think it's pants, you can thumbs it down. You can drop me a comment. And if you want to buy me a beer or a coffee, you can hit the super thanks button, which is the love out under the video. I always give a shout out to people that do that in my morning briefings on the other channel. There are also links in the video description if you don't want to use that. All right, guys. That's it for me today. Sundays, I'm usually live on a Sunday afternoon on my other channel, the Duncan Oldham channel. Usually jump on the Xbox on a Sunday with my best mate in America. and we just stream the games on there. So you're more than welcome to come along tomorrow afternoon for a natter. All right, you take it easy. And just keep the faith, all right? I mean, I could have made videos today about Eki Tea Cake and Isak, but I'm not here to just churn out pointless stuff like these content creators, aggregators, Twitter twats, etc. You know, when I make a video, there's something that I want to talk to you about. All right, guys, take it easy. Have a great weekend, and hopefully we'll speak real soon.